What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite Jealousator Apoc, and today we're gonna get right back to it with another installment of Kyra trying to be a life coach or something, where she goes on and on about friendships and what defines them, and how she's still apparently friends with Keren Swan, even though they never interact with each other anymore.
But Apoc, both of them have said they are just busy with their lives. You're just trying to stir the pot, hater.
Yeah, it's really not all that difficult to engage with your friends. Life does get in the way of certain things, but not so much so that you deliberately choose to ignore the people that you apparently care about.
Kyra doesn't ignore them on purpose, Apoc.
Actually, she does.
She's like, respond, hello. And they're like, hello, are you there? Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm like a really bad texter. If you know me, then I don't text back ever. Yeah. But I feel bad because I think that she used to think it was like personal. Yeah. But now like people have told you and realized that I'm like.
So choosing to ignore her friends based on a personal choice and not actually busy, but then gets her feelings hurt when one of her friends don't respond to her because they're actually busy and doing things. Bruh. One would think after getting a little taste of her own medicine and admitting that she realized what she was doing and that it hurts when it's on her end, she wouldn't have the same mentality 3 years later. But hey,
everyone can grow.
But before we dive any deeper, if you're enjoying the content, enjoying the tea, consider subscribing to the Jealousator Squad. Okay, grab your Starbucks. This one's a doozy.
I feel like if you don't speak, you stop being friends with people. I think a lot of people feel this way, but what I've come to learn is that's definitely not true.
Yeah, it's not that the friendships have stopped. It's that the dynamics to your friendship have changed due to inactivity. It's like fitness. If you really want to get lean and mean, there needs to be some work, some effort put into it, like Kyra said. And if all you do is work out every 6 to 9 months and ignore all the healthy eating habits and steps that you have to do, you're not going to get anywhere. No matter how long you keep that gym membership there waiting, there will be no progress unless you put in the time. This mentality literally applies to everything. Like if you ignore your homework, you'll end up getting a bad grade. You can't pass a class unless you put in the work, unless you do the work. So when you apply that to friends, you can't just leave them in the dark for 6 months and expect them to be waiting for you. Some of them won't do that, which is why she's probably lost friends in the past, because they're sick of waiting for her and they're not going to cater to her.
There will be and there is people in your life who you could not talk to for a long period of time, and when you talk again, it feels like you just talked yesterday.
Didn't she say that you can talk to someone every single day, but that doesn't make you friends? And on top of that, she also stated that friendships are not defined on how much you speak to someone. So by her own words, it doesn't really matter how she feels, because speaking does not define a friendship. Work, effort, and values do. Her logic, not mine. But tell me what benefits there are to having a friend like Kyra, who literally brings nothing to the table and chooses to ignore her friends, you know, except for the one conversation she has with them every year.
And I think those are the friendships that are lifelong, because it's very rare that throughout your life and all the changes you go through, whether you have kids or not, it's very hard to keep in contact all the time.
Yeah, the reason why those friendships seem lifelong is because all the cucks are still waiting for Kyra to text them back. And like I said, it's actually not hard at all to keep in contact with your friends, especially in this day and age when everything's at your fingertips. It's easier than ever. There's really no excuse anymore. I'm not saying that everyday conversations are even needed, but she talks about effort and work and how to be a good friend, the do's and don'ts and all this noise, while admitting she does none of those things and is aware of it and just expects everyone to just roll over and take it. This is beyond kids, work, and life. This is just who she is, which again is perfectly fine, but let's not play pretend that responsibilities are in her way. She chooses to ignore people. She chooses to be a bad friend because she's conscious of what she's doing. If she actually cared, she would change her habits, but she doesn't. She's the type of person that expects her friends to accept who she is and how she defines a friendship, while also not accepting who they are and what they define as a friendship. And when there's a disagreement, and I guarantee Continue, this has happened way more than once or twice. She just labels those people a bad friend or toxic people, even though all they wanted was a little damn interaction from her. This is the same chick who says if you follow her, but also follow drama channels, you're not a true fan and you don't care about her. So if she applies that type of mentality to her audience, people that she doesn't know or even cares about herself, imagine actually trying to be friends with her in real life.
But I think that's also comes with learning, because to be honest, in high school and like when I was younger, I for sure thought, like, I craved that movie friendship where you have like 8 girls, they all get along really great together, and they all, which that's never, I mean, that definitely exists.
It's funny because within this same live, she said she learned to appreciate friendships more after becoming an adult, but is now saying within her adulthood, she's learned those type of friendships aren't a thing, at least for her. And hey, Kyra, is this you?
The only thing is, like, I always wanted like a solid group of friends for like a bridal party. Like, I wanted like people I just knew, and I feel like I'm not there yet still, but I don't know if I'll ever. Do you ever get there?
Says she used to crave the group friendship based off of ignorance, but is still craving it to this day more than ever. Sick. Even considering postponing her entire wedding because she feels like she doesn't have that group of friends yet.
So anyways, I always was like waiting for that moment, but I'm not sure I'll ever get there, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's been so hard for me, of like, do I wait, do we not? But I think I'm just like over the waiting, like, let's just get married.
So basically what Kyra is saying is screw Jess Fan, Brittany, Hannah, Kyla, Oscar's mom, Alyssa, and apparently Keren too. They're not good enough for the group because they're not close enough. So much for remaining close if they're not talking for so long, huh?
I wish I could have that, and we all crave that, you know? We all want a community of people, and we want that, you know.
No, I really don't, because you're confusing as hell. I don't understand how someone who wants a friendship like that so badly but chooses to ignore all her friends that could be within that group. It doesn't make any sense.
I think sometimes with everything in life, stopping and appreciating what you do have in front of you is always a good reminder.
We literally just saw a clip of her saying that she doesn't have that group of friends yet, even though technically she does. And now she's talking about appreciating everything in front of her while also completely ignoring all those friends. But I'm not really sure how this even applies. Is she trying to tell us that friendships actually have no value? So what's the whole effort, work, and value thing about then? I thought she said she appreciated her friends in adulthood. Guess not.
Your husband becomes your best friend. Yes, that is why it's so important that you marry the person that can be your best friend, and that is and will be your best friend, because they will be.
Is Oscar really her best friend if she had to beg for an engagement ring?
Do you get anxiety meeting up with friends you haven't seen in years? Absolutely, yes. Oh my god, even friends I haven't seen in a few months, I do get nervous again, and it's like always kind of awkward for a second, but then it's fine and it's so much fun.
Didn't she say earlier in this live that she's still just as close to her friends as ever after not seeing them for so long? So why would there be any nervousness or anxiety? I thought she said social interaction was the cure.
I see a lot of comments just like friends blaming other friends, you don't really want to hang out, or dropping friends because you're busy. I don't know. I just think it's just like kind of like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or just a partner in general.
Yeah, you know, that's why she doesn't speak to any of them for half a year or more, because that's what truly defines a good friendship, not a toxic one. I mean, once we all sit down and talk, it's like we never missed a day.
Friendships, there's more bad ones than good ones out there, right? You're gonna find more friendships you don't like than you do like, most likely. Everything's situational, obviously, but
everything is situational, as in if you push for interaction with Kyra and you push a little too hard for that connection, you'll get the boot and be labeled as toxic. Typical scumbag mentality. Yeah, the friends that she ended up not liking were the ones she had to actually put in some effort into.
It's hard to find those friends that are gonna support you in times and situations like that.
Support you in what? No interaction whatsoever? Yeah, I bet it's real hard finding others who want to be friends with someone who only wants to play the pretend friend.
And if you just get rid of, that's such a bad term, but like drop the toxic friends, you'll have room to allow those good friends in.
I wonder how many ex-friends of Kyra dropped her for being the toxic friend to let in the good ones. So if she drops all the people that she deems toxic, who probably just want more to the apparent friendship than to just be ignored for X amount of time, and makes way for the ones that will cater to her bullshit and hold her vlog cameras.
Her life must be so hard.
One thing though that Oscar and I have always said, if we have a bunch of shitty friends, what are we doing wrong, right? Because you can only blame other people for so long.
Plot twist. Kyra and Oscar are the actual toxic friends. But if you have a bunch of toxic people around you, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that's the people that you attract. Like, you know, how Kyra attracted Oscar.
Am I shitty and that's why I'm attracting shitty friends? And I feel like,
yeah, just because there's shitty people around you does not mean you're a shitty person. It's just who you attract. But as I've stated before, I highly doubt the people that Kyra labels as bad friends are actually toxic. She's the one that has literally admitted to being a bad friend, to being bad at friendships, ignoring her friends for months on end, maybe even up to a year, admitting to being selfish, even getting upset when someone else doesn't respond to her text, and then has the audacity to come on here on a live and give out friendship advice. What? Good people, good friends attract bad people like narcissists, because those types like to take advantage of someone's kind nature and good heart. Ever notice how Kyra talks about providing some sort of value to the friendship? She wants to know what you can do for her while also providing no value herself.
that has just doing that, and again, in life in general, looking and reflecting on yourself is so beneficial. Like I can't even say that enough.
So that video I stumbled upon where Kyra is talking to Keren about becoming self-aware of her bad communication habits with friends, and that video backtracks all the way to 2018, and this Instagram live is based this year in 2021. So she can continue this whole thing about self-reflectance and looking inward all she wants, but 3 years later, after becoming self-aware and that video, she still has this same mentality and still pulls the same crap on her friends and has all the same excuses piled up. You know, maybe one of the real reasons why people come and go in her life so much and why she feels that she doesn't have that group of friends yet, the one that she craves so badly, is because she reeks of toxicity.
What do you think of friends of the opposite sex while you're in a relationship? What are the boundaries there? I'm not gonna lie, I know some people are gonna be like, oh my god, Oscar could not have a close friend that is the opposite sex. There's no way.
That's not true. That's impossible.
Yeah, the reason why he doesn't have any female friends is because Kyra has insecurity issues, so she doesn't let him. I'm not gonna blame her though, because he created that monster.
Because at one point in time, Oscar was my friend, and then we had 4 kids. So I just don't want to say that doesn't exist. I'm sure it does, and I know that some people are great at making that work or whatever.
Great at making that work or whatever. If someone doesn't let their partner be friends with someone of the opposite gender, it's because they don't trust them. That's all there is to it.
But I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it. Maybe it's my own insecurities. I'm not sure.
That's all it would be. You're not secure in your relationship.
But no. No way.
She's not saying it's impossible, and there's no way he would, based from choice or his life situation. This is coming from control, and the fact that she tracks his phone.
And it also, I mean, okay, let's also explain, like, Oscar's friends with Kyla, Oscar's friends with Hannah, but they're not going out just them two. Like, if Oscar's like, me and Hannah are going for drinks, I'd be like, the fuck you are?
I get how that would be extremely inappropriate, and it is, but there's also a huge difference with just hanging out with someone and then going out and getting drunk. Now, if Oscar was spending more time with another female or behind Kyra's back, that's a whole different ballgame as well, especially because he already ditches Kyra every chance he gets. But I can guarantee you, no matter what the context is, it could be Kyra's best female friend and she would still feel the same way, no matter what.
Like, no, I don't know. That's just weird to me.
It's only weird if you create something out of nothing.
So, and it goes both ways. Like, if I told Oscar, like, that I was gonna go to dinner with, like, one of his friends, he'd be like,
Well, yeah, of course. If it's not a friend that you both share, that would be weird.
Actually, I don't think Oscar would say no. I think he would just be like, why? That's weird.
So it doesn't go both ways. He's not insecure, you are.
Yeah, I think they can be friends with them, and I think they can like them. Like, you know, Oscar does really like hanging out with Hannah and with Kyla and my other friends, but like, he wouldn't go. You know what? Do you see what I'm saying?
That long pause she just did was some MK Ultra shit, and he might be hanging out with them, but the bigger question here is, can he do it alone without Kyra getting pressed?
But I don't want to imply that means if your boyfriend or whatever is friends with another girl, that's what's happening.
Yeah, she's only implying that for her situation, not yours.
Because again, everything is situational. I don't know. Maybe he's one of those unique people that, not even unique, I do think a lot of people can make it work. And truthfully, maybe he is, but I think I just wouldn't feel comfortable with it.
That's because you have no trust.
My husband and I have a rule to not be alone with the opposite sex. Don't put the temptation there. Nothing good comes from it. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, don't give a dog a bone.
Imagine believing that you're in a healthy relationship and that you really truthfully trust your partner, while also worrying about your partner giving into other temptations. If you have to set those kind of rules in your relationship and have those thoughts in your head that your partner might cheat on you, you are living in a toxic relationship, and some part of Kyra knows that Oscar may cheat on her given the chance.
I'm the same way. I hate when people say it's toxic to be that way.
But how come Kyra gets to decide what defines a friendship and a toxic relationship, but nobody else can? I'm thinking it's because she wants to fit her little narrative. She can point the finger at everything and everyone else, but nobody can do the same to her or her faults. It's quite comical though, coming from a goon who just said if so many people are toxic around her, then she needs to quit blaming others and look inward.
I just think one thing that I've learned is, I mean, there is toxic relationships for sure.
Self-awareness, who dis?
Like, there definitely is. But there's like things, again, there's like this weird growing stage, right? From like 17 to like, I don't know, I'm still in it, so hopefully it ends soon. But like, there's this weird stage in life in your early 20s and late like teens and mid 20s. I'm mid 20s now, oh my gosh. Where you're like figuring out how to be healthy in a relationship and all that, and it can be really difficult.
If you've been in a relationship for roughly 7 years or so, and by now you still haven't figured it out, you're probably never going to. You also shouldn't have to find ways to be healthy with your partner. That should just be a given. Otherwise, maybe it's not meant to be.
Like, I'm a very controlling person. I like to be in control, I think, because again, in my childhood, I was never in control. I had a really toxic is the word, childhood that was not very good. And so as I grew older, I felt the need to, in order to cope with my traumas, I don't like to use that word because I think that is like such a strong word, but in order to cope with my traumas, I feel that controlling the situation helped, so therefore I developed like controlment issues.
Claims to cling to control, based from past issues, but has zero control within her relationship. She's just repeating the toxic pattern from the past, and Oscar's the trauma.
And now I have to always be the one in control, and that's not a good thing, and I do recognize that, so I'm always trying my hardest to not be that way towards Oscar, because I do trust him.
She talks about control issues, but how much you want to bet Oscar controls her life? But no, she doesn't trust him. She literally just said and agreed that she can't leave Oscar in a room alone with another female because she doesn't want to put the temptation in front of him. There's really no reading between the lines here. It's pretty cut and dry. She believes Oscar would cheat on her.
And I'm not talking about like cheating trust. I'm talking about just like everything in life.
I don't get it. What other type of trust is she referring to outside of cheating? If he's not allowed to be alone with another woman or have a close female friend, why is that? Why would that be? She's admitted to being insecure. It's like she's trying to convince herself that Oscar isn't the type of person to do that. Yet over the years, he's proven himself to be just that. And her actions, the way she feels, the reason why she wants to control him is because there's no trust.
So anyways, I don't remember where I was going with that.
It's cool. Doesn't make any sense anyhow.
My only friends are women, so that would never work for me. I think it's case by case. I do agree. I mean, I definitely think it's situational, like I said.
It's not case by case, nor is it situational. She just said he can't have close female friends because she's not comfortable with it, basing it from past traumas and control or whatever. Like I said, it doesn't matter the situation or context. Kyra will be against it.
And everything is situational. I can't speak for the exact situation, but I just know in my situation, no way.
Her situation is insecurities.
Are you in a toxic relationship now? Absolutely Absolutely not. I don't think so, at least. And I think I know Oscar would say the same because we've talked about this.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyra, and have a conversation with the sociopathic narcissist and talk to him about whether or not if you two are toxic for each other.
Hey Oscar, are we toxic? What are you talking about? We are perfect for each other. You're so stunning and brave. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Gotta go.
Who's actively out here having conversations with their partner about the relationship and talking about if it's toxic or not? If you have to question that sort of thing, then it's most likely the case.
I constantly feel and think to myself, like, I am so grateful that I have the opportunity that I have. I mean, we fight, like, let's not be silly here. We do argue. There's things that drive me nuts about him. There's things about me that drive him nuts.
Yeah, you know, like when he was planning to leave her because she wanted him to stay home for once and be part of the family.
But I really feel grateful for the friendship that we have.
Stop me, give up. When do you realize this is the mother of my children? I'm so fucking mean to her. I treat her like dirt.
And I feel like friendship is like the most important thing in a relationship.
Stop me, give up. When do you realize this is the mother of my children? I'm so fucking mean to her. I treat her like dirt.
In my opinion, any two people can have sex. But for two people to feel like best friends and want to be around each other all the time and want to experience life together, like,
stop me, give up. When do you realize this is the mother of my children? I'm so fucking mean to her. I treat her like dirt.
So when has Oscar ever wanted to experience anything with Kyra? Dude goes skydiving, rock climbing, mountain biking, and all these other adventures on his own without Kyra or his family. Dude left her at Disney on a birthday gift to go do something else without her. Seems like all he wants to do is experience things alone, or maybe with someone else aside from Kyra. Look, I'm not assuming or speculating anything, just saying it's pretty weird that he likes to do all these things without her, even likes to help others with their dreams and goals and aspirations, but puts Kyra, his wife, on the back burner. So she can do this whole song and dance about how two people can just have sex, or whatever, and it doesn't mean anything, yet she's claimed that the only way Oscar shows his affection towards her, it's through sex.
sex, even though it's like such an important thing, it can be portrayed as such a minor thing, and I'm definitely guilty of that. Sex is not as important to me as it is to Oscar, for sure. That's not my love language at all.
So if Kyra says sex doesn't mean much to her and experiencing life with your best friend does, but Oscar isn't experiencing anything with her aside from sex, does that mean they aren't really best friends? And in a way he's using her as a safety net who he can have sex with? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. This is also the same guy that caused major issues within their relationship because he couldn't have sex with Kyra because she was in a lot of pain after having a child.
That's hard to find, and the fact that I found that at such a young age, I feel so grateful for. And I see, especially on TikTok, I see all these relationships where like somebody found out something about their spouse or whatever, and I'm just so grateful that I don't have to deal with that, you know? So I would say definitely not.
Yeah, let's base our gratitude for our relationships off what's perceived and pushed out on TikTok, an app full of people who are even more fake than the vloggers themselves that the vloggers are actually jealous of because of the easy work they do. It's not like it's dramatized content that gets pushed out for clout. No, everything on TikTok is real and should be perceived as such. Funny coming from Kyra, who would say she only shows us what she wants to show us or tells us not to believe everything we see online. But go ahead, Kyra. Go off and convince yourself that your relationship is one of a kind and base that from what you see on TikTok. But keep this clip in mind while you're doing that.
Stop me, give up. When do you realize this is the mother of my children? I'm so fucking mean to her. I treat her like dirt.
Yeah, she's a real lucky gal. Anyways, all you jealous haters, that's about it. There's gotta be something wrong with Kyra's brain. Oscar obviously did something to it. Not really sure how she can function with these mouth-breathing ass backwards mentalities that make no sense whatsoever, and with every word she contradicts herself. She really wants to believe that the person she has to beg for affection or attention is a good person, when he's just another narcissist. She can talk about being lucky all she wants, but also say that Oscar can't be around other women because she doesn't trust him because of the temptation, which is based around cheating. Not really sure why she said it wasn't, because what the hell else would it be? Along with being insecure in her relationship with him, which is created by the things he says to her. Like, I don't know, maybe when Kyra was buying a dress or whatever and Oscar asked if her titties would look just as good as the models.
But he goes, are your boobs gonna look that?
No, I said, are your boobs gonna look like that in that dress?
No, you were about to say,
No, I did
And
not.
yes, you were.
No, I
And
did
then you
not.
stopped yourself and you said,
But yeah, go off on how fortunate you are, Queen. And as for Keren Swan, I really don't care if her and Kyra are still friends or not. It's just everything she says doesn't make any sense, and everything points to them not being friends anymore. But hey, with all the insecurities and ignorance, I'm probably just jealous. In conclusion,
I'd be like, the fuck you are.